So what we're going to be covering today includes kind of 3 different sections for post-blackout engagement. We have our digital and telephone town halls, in-person events, and online engagement. So we're going to kind of talk about different strategies that fall into those 3 buckets and the best way to be engaging constituents post-blackout on these different platforms. But before we get started, I kind of wanted to just explain, as you guys know, good data is really going to be the backbone of any type of this constituent engagement. And that data can really come from anywhere. So we can use existing IQ data that you're capturing organically from people that call into your office or email you. We also have we offer a ton of our offices use our L2 constituent mapping subscription account, or even Aristotle's VLO we integrate with. And if you don't have a list or a data vendor, no problem. We can offer both one-time purchases for like a mass update of all of your data in IQ, or we also have some what we call our subscription packages, which basically offer quarterly refreshes of email, phone, commercial, demographic data, for instance, new movers to your district I've got pulled up here on L2. And the cool thing is that recently, earlier this year, as you guys probably know, Franking changed their rules to allow for targeting based on constituent ideology. So what that means for you guys is the ability to target based off of liberal, conservative, or moderate ideology standpoints. And that data will also be available in L2 for free for any of our L2 clients if they book or purchase anything between now and April. So that's a great way to get some extra data as well. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of get into the first bucket, which is the digital town halls. And a lot of times what this will be based around is a telephone town hall, but we also have a lot of different features that we've bundled in. So it's no longer just your old school landline only type engagement. There's a lot of different ways that we can actually get constituents engaged in the district and have them be a part of the conversation.
So some of the features that all of our town halls have would include live Q&A with your constituents. So if anybody has a question, they're able to hit *3 on their keypad. That puts them into a queue where they can talk to a screener. That can be someone from your staff, or we actually do provide that as a service as well. And so they're able to ask their question to a screener, and then whoever is sitting with the boss would be able to see all of those questions and then select who is able to actually go live on the call. So it's very controlled, especially if you are trying to stay on a certain topic. That's nice to be able to see all of those questions. You can also do poll questions, which we recommend doing early on in the call when you have the most amount of people on, and that allows people to really give their opinion without having to go live. Not everybody necessarily has a question, but you can ask them a poll question, especially with everything going on with the coronavirus. That's really a hot topic right now. So getting some information, and then you can use that data to follow up with people after the call. A lot of offices include guest speakers, and what's nice is not everybody has to be at the same location. So some offices might do a disaster preparedness or disaster relief call and have members of FEMA on the line. And, the boss is able to be here in DC. The representatives from FEMA might be in other places of the country and able to connect back with their district in Texas. And so it's just really nice to have that flexibility.
Another one right now in particular that we're seeing a lot of is like offices are scheduling a ton of coronavirus events. So if you're outside of Blackout and you want to do something like that and be able to have some sort of local health official, or another thing that's really popular right now too, we see with offices is doing something centered around the census. So like help filling out the paperwork or like some subject matter experts. That's always really, really popular as well, and definitely adds like a whole nother level of value add for the constituents in your district.
Absolutely. So the general town hall is always great, just a general topic, but when there are more time-sensitive topics to be discussing, we definitely encourage people to focus more on those types of events. I did briefly mention this, but we do offer screening and moderating services. So a lot of times, it is hard to get your entire staff all, available at the same night to do the event when the boss is available. So we do offer those services so that you really just need, the boss and then maybe one or two key people to be with them during the event. And in addition to the phone call, we do stream audio. That's included in all of our events. And then we have the ability to stream video as well. So you can really make sure you have your social media presence and the phone presence all on one event.
Yeah, we have a lot of offices that will actually do like parallel Facebook Live events for the audio stream, so that way you can grab any of your followers, on that channel and redirect them to your live audio stream of the event.
So for anyone who hasn't done an event before, just a few key points. The events usually last about 60 minutes, and just to give you some ballpark numbers, the average pickup rate is about 22%. So that's really where we can come in and help determine how many people you should be calling.
Best time to call them, best time of day.
Yes, to really, bring those average stats up. But on average, people do stay on the line for general events for about 14 minutes. We see that number go way up when it's very topic specific. And again, if you need help with how to bring those numbers up, we can help with that as well.
I would say that in the average hour-long event, depending on how lengthy your boss's response is, you can expect to get through anywhere between 8 to maybe 12 Q&A from constituent, and that's also with factoring in a couple poll questions. The poll questions are great just because maybe somebody who wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable raising their hand and asking a question on one of these calls, but they definitely want to be included and voice their opinion through the poll questions. That's a great way to keep folks on the line and keep them engaged while you're also tackling, these great questions and answers coming out of your district. So the way that the pricing is actually broken down for hosting any telephone town hall event is based on two factors. One, how many people you guys are looking to reach out to, so like the dial-out list size. And then two, if this is going to be a basic access live event or a total access live event. So what we're going to do now is kind of walk you through those different features that make up each package and just provide some additional context so that when you're looking to plan your next event, you have some idea of like which things you might want to use. Also helpful to know about this screen, if you're doing a basic access event and want to incorporate anything that we cover from the total access package, we can include those all a la carte. So not to worry on that end. Anything that you want to take advantage of, we'll make sure to get the resources available to make that happen.
Absolutely. So we're going to actually jump really quick into the next slide just to show you our website integration. And this is included no matter what you do. And this is actually a really important page to be setting up. It really doesn't require any work from the office. It's really just our team working with your web vendor to set this up. And what this is it allows the live event to be streamed right here on your website. It doesn't have to be a video stream. I know a lot of offices are nervous, especially for their first event, to do a video stream, but it can just be an audio stream of the event. We can include closed captions, however, that's not included in all events, but that is an option, and it would be right here on this page. But the biggest thing with this page is it does allow this ongoing opt-in VIP list, and they're not just signing up for your live event, they're also signing up for text messages, other phone calls, so, phone notifications that we'll go over a little bit later, and then also email newsletter and texting. So really it's as close as you can get to a universal opt-in.
Yeah, that's why I love this page. I mean, it's free. The URL would be your member's last name, like it would be your standard member.house.gov, and then it would just be a /live page. This literally takes maybe 2 days 3 days max to turn around. So I would say regardless of where you are in your blackout cycle, reach out to us and let us set up this page for you right away because, like Bridget mentioned, it's the closest thing to a universal opt-in. You're capturing email, you're capturing phone number, you're capturing contact info. And this will be the page that not only you go to promote, to say like, hey, to sign up to be on my VIP list, go to member.house.gov/live, but then during the actual live event, that's going to be the same URL you use to have folks join online for that live event. And people that join online can still submit questions or answer poll questions just as if they were on the regular call out.
So that kind of covers the website integration, and if we're looking back at all of the basic Access Live features, that is included, which also includes the event registration and the streaming audio. You will have the ability to do the phone and online Q&A no matter what you do, the live polling as well. And then what's nice is after the event's over, we can take a few of your favorite question and answer clips, and that can live on that website as well, just kind of like a running carousel of past events. And we give you shareable clips, so you can share content on social media from your events. So we really want to help keep the engagement going after your event's over.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see offices that will post stuff saying, you know, I just did a really great event on, you know, coronavirus preparedness, and if you want to sign up to be on other similar events like this, go to my website at member.house.gov/live. And then, so to kind of switch gears into the total access packages, so some other things that we include for total access: a pre-call or a pre-event reminder prior to your event taking place. This is usually something we like to do around maybe 2 or 3 p.m. local time, the day before the event. And the goal with that timing is to really hit as many voicemails as possible so that folks can listen to the message in its entirety, see the sign-up URL, and also hear the telephone number if they want to dial in from a different phone. And so that would be the pre-event reminder, or an auto call or robocall, all kind of the same thing. And that is something that's included in total that we definitely see help boost day of event engagement and live answer rates. We also have what are called inbound minutes. So that's a 10-digit phone number we would set up for your office that basically you can give out to constituents, leave in your answering machine messages, and allow constituents to dial into your event. So not only will you have the outbound dial-out list that we would build with you, but you'll also have participants that are calling into the event. Maybe they missed the call and were like, oh shoot, I really wanted to participate in that. They'd easily be able to hop into that conversation as well.
And you have unlimited inbound minutes with the total package. So yeah, a lot of offices will share that as much as possible because you won't be charged anything additional.
Yeah, I encourage offices to definitely put it on blast. It'll also be included in your custom promotion plan. So that's actually a plan that Bridget's marketing team will put together with custom graphics as well as a timeline of where and when to be posting. So it'll say, 5 minutes before you go live, make sure you add this graphic to your Instagram story, or push this onto Facebook, the day before to, capture any last-minute registrants for your call. We kind of take all the legwork out of promoting it from your team, so you can just really focus on making sure that the day of event is as successful as possible. Next on this list, we've got the pro screeners. So for a total access event, we actually include 2 screeners from Bridget's team, from Broadnet. They're based remotely out of Denver, but they'll be on the call to screen questions that you receive from participants. So while folks are on the line, they're going to hear a custom prompt to hit *3 to ask a question, and those people will go into a queue. We also have the ability, though, to hit *6 to sign up for the members' e-newsletter. And what we see a lot of offices do will actually be to leverage these 2 pro screeners to moderate only the email signups, but we can certainly work flexible. We can do whatever. But I think that what's nice about using the *6 feature is that you're actually capturing those email addresses in real time. So previously when offices would do press 1 to sign up for my newsletter, we would be able to capture, subscribe folks that we had an email address for, but if we didn't have an email, we'd have to call those people back and try to get their email, and this method allows for you to actually capture them in real time. In addition to a screener, we also have a moderator service. The moderator is the person that's usually sitting with the boss or over the phone dialed in as a host with the member, and they're the ones that are introducing poll questions, reminding folks about using the *3 prompt to ask a question, signing up for the newsletter. They're also the one that would be like, up next we have Ashley Julian from Bethesda, Maryland. What's your question, Ashley? So that's that moderator role.
And people do love using our moderators just because sometimes you don't have the staff available or you're nervous for your first event. So it is nice to take advantage of that feature if you're using the total package. And also you really want someone with, high energy, when people are joining the call. It really does help keep people on the line when that person, who's doing the transitions and bringing people live has a good energy.
We also have streaming video, which is available in any of our total access packages. So if you're interested in doing a video stream, we definitely have clients that do that as well. Closed captioning on here is awesome. I'm like obsessed with this. So this will be on either the live audio or video stream. Basically, we hire someone to do live closed captioning. So if you have constituents that are hearing impaired that want to participate, closed captioning is great because they'd be able to go to your streaming page and submit questions and answer poll questions just as if they were on the phone.
Another nice thing, too, if you are using the closed captions, I did mention having those shareable clips to share on social media later or via email. And if you have closed captioning, that would also be included in the clip.
Nice. That's really great. And then the last feature is transcription. So after the event's over, we'll provide both a full event transcription as well as transcription of any voicemails that are left after the event. So if listeners didn't get a chance to ask their question or they wanted to leave a message for the member, they'll be able to do so immediately following the call, and you'll get a transcription of those as well. So now that you're so excited about hosting your first event, you actually have the ability to schedule events directly within IQ now. So when you go to the Outreach big menu, under the new column, there's a new town hall event, and that'll open up this pop-up window, and it allows you to choose an event day, select other users to get notified. You can choose an event type that you want to do. But really the reason I love this a lot is that you can see available time slots, because a lot of times offices will say, like at least with my offices, they'll email me and say, hey, we want to do an event at 8 o'clock, and I'll check, and maybe 8 o'clock's booked, but 7:55 or 8:05 is open. They can actually self-serve and actually see under the available time drop-down all the open windows we have for that time. And then by clicking schedule, they're just putting a placeholder on it, and then our team will follow up to get the remaining information that we need. But it's a great way if you want to call dibs quickly on a certain time window. This is a great way to do it, and it's all directly within IQ, so you don't have to go to any other platform. It's already installed on your desktop.
And if you don't see the time slot you want when you're doing this, still reach out.
Yeah, still email me.
Even if a time slot is booked, we do have the ability to book multiple events in those time slots. We just have to override it.
Yeah, just email us if there's a slot that you want that you don't see available. Normally, Bridget and I will move mountains to make sure you get the window you're looking for.
As close as possible.
Okay, so we've talked about now hosting a telephone town hall, the ability to book it directly in IQ. Now I'm going to flip and switch gears into our phone polling, which is so popular right now with our offices. The kind of engagement we've been getting on this is insane.
So offices really do love Surveyor. As you can see with telephone town halls, they are so valuable, but there are a lot of decisions that have to be made, especially with your first one. And then you have to get the right people in the room at live time. What's so nice for offices is with Surveyor polling, you're able to get a lot of information from your constituents and really get that very personal touch point with them, but it's not really a heavy load on the office's end. So really all you have to do is work together to come up with up to 8 questions. We usually send out sample scripts based on what's been previously approved by franking, what other offices have asked, but everyone gets customized. You know, we've had people really tweak it recently, like, did you know that I worked on this bill, or did you know that I helped open up a VA hospital in the district? So making sure that constituents are aware of things that are happening, as well as which topics are most important to them. So for the office, really it's just, you know, coming up with those questions and then having the boss record just the introduction sound file, so what people hear when they pick up the phone, the closing remarks, and just the answering machine sound file as well if we don't connect to the constituent. And then our team actually records, we have our professional voice talent record all the actual questions. So if you do say, you know, do you approve of the member, it's not the member actually asking, do you approve of me? So once we have all that done, that literally takes a day, you know, and then franking just has to approve it. We will send you a test call. You can listen to it, and if you approve it, we just set it up for the day and time that you would like it to go out. And from the constituent side, they get a phone call. About 20% of the constituents will pick up the phone when we call them, and so they'll hear that introduction message that the member recorded, and then they'll be placed right into the poll to start taking that survey. If they miss the call, they'll receive a voicemail file, and that will give them a toll-free number so they can dial back into the poll and take it for up to a week. And we have had offices who get a lot of constituents taking the survey, and we can leave it up even longer than a week, but by default it's 1 week. And let me just go into the results that we're seeing. So if anyone's familiar with stats in polling in general, you'll know that it's a pretty low response rate. But with these surveys, because they're for official business purposes, you're calling your constituents. As soon as they pick up the phone, they're hearing their member's voice on the line. They actually do stay on the line. So of the people who take the survey, those who complete the first poll question, 88% of them will actually complete the entire survey, so all 8 questions. And then the last question is actually an e-newsletter ask, and this is where the timing is really critical. We do have some offices who are actually about to go into a blackout, and we recommend doing this kind of before any of your communication strategy, because you're going to get about 60,000 people to pick up the phone if you're calling a universe size of about 300,000. And of those, 9,000 people will complete the entire 8-question survey. And then the big thing here is 2,400 will sign up for the e-newsletter. And it's not just signing up for the e-newsletter. We also have them record their email address so that you don't have to follow up with them and get it after the fact. So you have all of that information as soon as we send out this survey. And then next we're going to talk about promotions that kind of tie in
all of this together. Yeah, I mean, now that you've heard about all the great features that IQ is able to offer with our town halls and our partnership with Broadnet and Surveyor, you're like, how do I get the opportunity to take advantage of this technology? We've got 2 great promotions. So we have a buy 3, get 1 free promo, and this applies to any combo of Access Live and Surveyor. The only thing I would say is, like, for your free event, it'll equal whatever the cheapest of your past 3 were, so just work with me ahead of time to kind of map out what the best dial outs for those list sizes look like. And then also for our offices that have done only basic access events in the past, you can try the full total access feature set for the cost of the basic access. So 2 great ways that you can take advantage of these services and also be able to expand your engagement footprint. What we've got here next is just a sample of 2 different timelines. So the first one is doing, 4 traditional total access events, and you can see how we've kind of spread it out from a March post-blackout phase into the end of July. And we also have this put together with a surveyor as well. Like Bridget mentioned, I really encourage you to do Surveyor right at the beginning and right at the end before Blackout starts again, because it's also really nice that if you include some engagement questions or some approval rating questions, you'll be able to actually measure and get some sort of return on investment for hosting these events. So usually what we do is a district-wide poll in the beginning, hit up everybody in your district, and then based on those participants, schedule 2 maybe more issue-specific town halls, and then capstone it with one last surveyor poll to the same folks that participated in those previous town halls, as well as incorporating some other folks as a last-ditch effort to capture those email addresses. That's definitely going to be the best bang for your buck in terms of getting as many email addresses as possible leading into the August blackout. Any questions so far about the digital town halls? Okie dokie. So then now that we've covered kind of how to engage your constituents online over the phone, I want to switch to doing in-person events and some strategies that you can use to do in-person events. So the first one is making sure to constantly be plugging that /live sign-up page, because that page is going to live year-round on your website. There's nothing to hold the boss back from, during any in-district stuff, reminding participants or attendees, if you want to sign up to be on my VIP call list to keep the conversation going, or so I can reach out to you to let you know what's going on while I'm back in DC about this topic, make sure you go to my member.house.gov/live page. We'll also talk about some ways that you can leverage Eventbrite, the leading event management platform, and then some auto call and text invite options as well. So for Eventbrite, I'm sure most of you have already used Eventbrite in the past, but this is a great platform for being able to create events for free, and we can actually link your Eventbrite page up to IQ. So you're able to sync any past events or even upcoming events directly into IQ and store those people that sign up that want to participate, all those RSVPs. If you've ever had the task in your time on the Hill with manually transcribing, a sign-in sheet or something like that, how time-consuming that can be. This actually eliminates that completely, so it's saving you a ton of time. And what's great is when you're using Eventbrite, you can include that disclosure language by signing up for this event. You're agreeing to be opted in to receive, email, phone, communications from my office, and you can auto-tag all those people with the appropriate opt-in codes. It's also really helpful because when the event is over, you can also view all of your attendees. So anyone that checked in, you can send a thanks for coming, here's a link to more information, or you can even grab people that maybe RSVP'd but didn't show up and say, like, sorry we missed you, here's what you missed, and here's when our next event will be. So it allows for like a very nice level of data integration, bringing those in-district events into IQ, so you're really having a comprehensive picture of all your touch points with that constituent. And then the last option is for the auto calls or robocalls and texting. We have a ton of offices that will do like a robocall before like a job fair or maybe a coffee with a congresswoman, or we even have an office that does events at like dog parks and wants to let people know about them. So there's a ton of different ways that you can leverage those auto calls to drive attendance to your in-person events.
And we even had a few just recently who did like happy holiday messages, here's my mobile office hours during the holidays.
Yeah, that was really popular at the end of the year.
And so not just for in-person events, even though I know that's what we're focusing on right now, but also with the telephone town halls, it is a great way to send a notification the day before the event saying, hey, we'll be doing, a telephone town hall tomorrow. You should expect a phone call around X time. And then anything super newsworthy, especially right now with everything going on with coronavirus, if you need to send out a quick automated phone call or a text blast. And I know right now a lot of people are moving in the direction of texting, but still on average about 35 to 40% of your data does include landlines. So it is still important to do the automated phone call portion as well. And it is just a nice personal touch. You know, we have so many different ways to communicate via email, social media, texting, but still hearing your member's voice is still a very personal connection, and so we still encourage it. But I do want to talk about SMS broadcast. Many people are familiar with peer-to-peer texting, but this is a little bit different. Peer-to-peer is great on the campaign side, but for members, you don't really need to do that loophole in order to communicate via text, because you are able to communicate to constituents on their mobile phones for official business purposes. So what's nice is it's fast. We can send thousands of text messages a minute. So if you do need to get something that's time sensitive out, we're able to do that. And you are able to do link tracking. So if you are doing an in-person event and you set up your Eventbrite link and you have that link ready to go, you can include that in your text message, and in your report you'll be able to quickly see how many people clicked the link, and then in your detailed report you will be able to see exactly who clicked the link as well. So it's just a nice feature to have. We also have autoresponders, so we can do just a generic autoresponder for your account. So anytime someone responds, they just get a nice greeting that your team has already approved and Franking has approved. That's like, thank you for your response. You can contact my office, by phone or email here. You can also do keyword autoresponders. So this is when it gets very customized, and it does kind of have that peer-to-peer feel where you can set up specific keywords, and if they respond with that keyword, they would get a specific autoresponder based on that. And we do have further development coming with the SMS broadcast, where eventually your office will be able to log in and have an inbox where you can respond directly to some constituents. So there are more exciting things to come, but there's a lot that we can do currently.
Thank you so much for that. Are there any questions about in-person events that we can go over for you? You can feel free to use the chat feature if you have questions, or just make sure you unmute yourself, and we're happy to take any of those questions that you might have as well.
I think the biggest thing with texting that we've noticed is offices are just surprised at how affordable it is.
Yeah, so cheap. I mean, you can hit up 10,000 people for under $1,000. That's insane.
Way under, yeah.
All right, well, if there aren't any questions about in-person events, I'll kind of complete the third of these different channels, and this is online engagement. So we've already covered phone calls, text, in-person events, data, Eventbrite. So the last one is just online engagement with newsletter tools and digital ads. So first of all, obviously making sure that you're promoting that sign-up page that we've talked about earlier. I have offices that will include the member.house.gov/live page in their email signature, on $4.99 postcards that we do for them. They'll just keep it kind of present in all of their outreach, and at the bottom even of form letters. The reason, like I said, that we love this page is because, one, it's free, which everyone loves, and two, it really is the closest thing we've seen to a universal opt-in. You're capturing multiple channels at the same time for subscription, so that's huge. The things that I want to show you guys in IQ are surveys and polls using our HyperTag tool, and then A/B testing and follow-up campaigns. So the polls and surveys are obviously a great, quick and easy way to engage constituents on hot topics in real time. We have a lot of offices that will just send out these smaller newsletters that just contain these one poll questions, and these are really helpful for gauging kind of real-time response on these hot topic issues. So I have an example here of using a hyper tag option. So this is just like a yes no question, and each possible answer choice is automatically linked to an affiliation code or tag in IQ. We do still have the ability to do more traditional polls. So for instance, if you want to do like a multi-question poll question, we can have each answer tied to a tag in IQ. And what's nice about this is you can actually do an Insta poll. So it's showing the results in real time. So if you want to say, you know, do you like chocolate or vanilla ice cream better? You can see as soon as you hit submit how many people have said each answer. Next up is when you're sending out these messages, here's some ways to enhance deliverability. So the first one is with A/B testing. So IQ's released true A/B testing into our product, and in case you've never used A/B testing before, basically what it does is it says, okay, I've got my list of 1,000 people that are going to receive this mailer. I want to take the first 10% or 100 people and send them 2 different versions. And those different versions can be different based on the content, the subject line, the from address. You can change them and modify them in certain ways, and then determine like, okay, of those 100 that I'm sending out, whichever one does the best based on viewers or click-throughs or survey takers, send the other 900 that winning version. So this is really just kind of overall enhancing deliverability and open rates and engagement on those newsletter tools. In addition to A/B testing, we have what's called a follow-up campaign. And what this allows you to do is actually map out a series of mailings. So for instance, you can send out your 2020 priority survey, and everyone that takes the survey will get a copy of the results, after March 31st. And then everyone who hasn't taken the survey yet, you can see you can map out a different set of mailings for them. So for instance, reminder, don't forget to complete the survey, it's closing soon, and then send them the survey results. Or we have offices that kind of set up a series of mailings for new subscribers. They'll say, thanks for subscribing. Here's what you can expect, and then they'll send their first survey 1 week later, and then 2 weeks after that they'll send, here's where my district offices are and how they can help you. You can actually map out that entire series of engagement ahead of time, and even if you don't have the language ready for it yet, you can create, I created a placeholder form letter here that shows that it's going to be the name of the form letter. All right, so outside of IQ as well, there are some additional ways that you can help drive your message to constituents, and that is leveraging our digital advertising. So digital ads are great because it allows you to inform constituents about your office's priorities, promote in-district events, make sure that maybe you have a way to engage with constituents for a reason they might not have had to reach out to you to begin with. And make sure you're highlighting any legislative wins, bill sponsorships, co-sponsorships, etc., and making sure that you're being digitally responsive to people that are on the internet looking for topics that matter to your office. So for instance, if people are searching about help with the coronavirus, they know that your office is here and able to help. One thing that I think makes us very different in terms of our advertising as opposed to other traditional advertisers is that we don't use cookies. I'm sure you guys have noticed that basically anytime you go to a new page, you're accepting those tracking cookies when visiting popular sites. And this actually, doing cookie-based advertising is a huge waste of time and dollars for you guys because you're not actually hitting all the people that you're trying to. What we found is that actually more than half of your total spend on any cookie-based ad campaign is going directly to bots. So instead, we actually use a list of constituents that we'll pull out of IQ or L2 or VLO or whatever voter platform you're using. And that means that we're targeting real individuals. We'll be able to use that list and target device IDs and then be able to make sure that we're actually pushing our ads to everybody in that household. And franking really loves this way of advertising because it means that you're actually only spending money on hitting actual constituents and there's no bleed over into nearby districts. So a lot of times when I bring up digital ads, everyone's like, oh, yeah, we do Facebook ads. This is not Facebook ads. These are web-based ads. I have a little graphic here to show you some different places you would see them. But it's not Facebook advertising. It's advertising on web pages specifically. Also, what's cool about our ad platform is that we have the ability to whitelist specific sites. So if there are local newspapers or regional outlets that you want to ensure your ads are being seen on, we can certainly whitelist those sites for you. Okay, so now that we're actually advertising, we have 3 different ways we can do this. One is list-based, the most traditional. We just need a name and a physical address of who we want to target. Our GPS mapping technology will match those to physical addresses with device IDs living at that location. Ads are delivered to those devices. So you don't have to pull anything else other than a name and an address. Don't worry about email, phone number, anything like that. And with those list-based ads, that's where we're determining how long they're going to run for, what frequency we're doing, and depending on what the ad is, I can kind of recommend and work with you guys on what those numbers look like. The second type of advertising is geofencing. I have an example pulled up right here. What this is we actually do like a custom polygon, not like a radius or anything like that. I mean, we can, but what I like to do is actually do a custom polygon around an area and then serve ads to devices at that location. So for instance, a client was trying to advertise to students at the University of Denver. They could just draw a radius around the folks that they wanted to hit, and then we can grab everybody that crosses into that radius and then deliver ads to them either immediately or a few days later launch that campaign. This has been really popular too with veteran hospitals in your district or things like that. To be able to grab folks that you want to push that message to of like, here's what the boss is doing to help the vets in our district. And then the third type is search plus contextual. This is pretty much like a keyword search basically, in the sense that the office would give us a list of keywords, so you can have up to 100, but ones that we see typically are like, who represents me in Congress, help with visas and passports, census help, who's my member of Congress, and be able to then, that will hit everybody in your district, and then when they are searching for these terms, they'll immediately see your ad on whatever page they land on. And I'd be happy to send over some examples of what those look like, but this is definitely, I would say, the search plus contextual is like, if you guys are interested in advertising at all, this is like definitely the bare minimum I think you should be doing is the search plus contextual, because these are people in your district that are out there looking for information on things that you guys can help them with. So it really is being as kind of quote unquote digitally responsive as possible. So now that we've gone over kind of all the things, I've taken our timeline and just gone wild with it. I've got our surveyors, our 2 telephone town halls, and then a capstone surveyor. I have the ongoing search plus contextual. That's just a monthly fee. That keyword search is just $1,500 a month, and you'd be able to make sure that your ad is seen by anybody in your district that's a voter that's looking for help.
And they get a lot of keywords, right?
Yeah, you can have like up to 150 or something crazy. So definitely kind of go for it. Take advantage of it. And then I've also included some list-based campaigns and then a geofence. And the reason I wanted to do this was, let's survey everybody and then use these different strategies to engage constituents on things that we want to make sure we're informing them on, and then do a surveyor right at the end. And now you're really being able to measure results and be able to kind of see the ROI or return on investment that you're putting into it, that these people, you know, we have data to prove specifically that doing a series of list-based campaigns can help increase approval ratings by 5 points. And anyone that wants a copy of that case study can send me an email, and I'm happy to share that with you as well. Okay, any questions? I'm sure there's got to be some questions. That was a lot of information for 45 minutes.